Hello, it's me, Shakti Sundari, and I'm back with you today for the next reading from the Radiance Sutras. I'm sitting here on a bench on Hampstead Heath. It is a beautiful, beautiful summer's day, just absolutely glorious. Sitting underneath the beautiful pine tree, I can feel the heat of the sun shining down upon me. I'm looking out to green, a vista of green and blue skies with just some feather wisps of white. But I've got to make a confession before I read to you today, which is that I feel like a total fraud and I feel like a total fake, because actually I'm really grumpy today, and I've been grumpy for a few days, and I've been pissed off for a few days, and there's an element of when I come to read these sutras where, of course, it does change how I feel. It absolutely does genuinely change how I feel in myself. And I never fake anything when I'm reading at all. That's not what I do or who I am. I can't fake things at all. But I suppose what it is I'm really aware of the contradiction in myself, in my own being. Very aware of the contradiction between who I am when I read the sutras and then who I become, even 5 minutes later when I snap at somebody around me or just, feel grumpy. And I totally own my grumpiness. I don't mind it. It's fine, but it does sometimes affect those around me. Although they can also laugh at it. My kids laugh at me, so that's fine. But I guess it's just wanting to acknowledge my very humanness, and not wanting anybody watching this to think that I am some immaculate, perfect, always smiling, always sweetly, serenely divine goddess, because I am certainly not that. I am every emotion under the sun, light and dark, and that is the truth of my being. Just wanted to say that. So anyway, today we are on to Yukti 51. Tipping over past the 50 mark feels like quite a thing. And this is another quite long meditation. That is once again about embracing the fullness of all of life as a practice in itself. So let's read the Sanskrit. I really love the Sanskrit for today. Some of them I just love even more than others. So here we go. Yukti verse 51. Yatra yatra manastushti manastatra eva darayet. Tatra tatra para ananda svarupam sampravatate. I really love that. I'm going to read it again. Yatra yatra manastushti manastatra eva darayet. Tatra tatra para ananda svarupam sampravatate. And here is Lauren Rocher's translation. Whenever you feel carried away, rejoicing in every breath, there is your meditation hall. I've got my hair stuck in my lips. There is your meditation hall. Cherish these times of absorption, rocking the baby in the silence of the night, pouring water into a crystal glass, tending the logs in a crackling fire, sharing a meal with a circle of friends. Embrace these pleasures and know this is my true body. Nowhere is more holy than this. Right here is the sacred pilgrimage. Live in alertness for such a moment, my beloved, as if it were your one meeting with the Creator. themes that repeat again and again in these sutras. You know, it's so beautiful, and every day a reminder that the everyday is where the sacred is. This is such an upturning of mainstream notions of spirituality, which, you know, have come from the sort of masculine dominated patriarchal paradigm that we need to remove ourselves from life to ascend, that we need to live in our higher centers to be divine. And these tantric teachings turn all that on its head, really, and say, no, there is this way where we embrace all of life as sacred, where we start with the root and the sex, and we move up from there, and nothing is denied. Everything is embraced. Right here is the sacred pilgrimage. So for me today, right here on this bench in the sun, with the sounds that are around me, with the distraction of the hair blowing into my face, with the slight grumpiness that I came here feeling, the disgruntlement, all of that. But let's go back to the beginning and just go through these words. Wherever, whenever you feel carried away. So that's the essence of this meditation. Whenever or wherever you feel carried away, it's knowing that letting go in totality. When we become fully absorbed, immersed in an activity, in a doing, or in a being. Even that, you know, I have noticed can be so challenging for so many people to really let go into fully embracing any experience. And that's, again, the invitation of the tantric path is to surrender, is to let go into totality. But for some reason, for many of us, there's always something that holds us back. Some element of self-consciousness, some element of fear, some element of being concerned what others would think or what might happen. The mind gets in the way. But the invitation is wherever, whenever you feel carried away, rejoicing in every breath. Those moments of ecstasy, exhilaration. I'm just thinking of when I'm dancing. That for me is, you know, so easy to get carried away there and be rejoicing in every breath, rejoicing in every second. There is your meditation hall. So it will be a different thing for each of us where it's easiest to get carried away. Maybe it's tinkering with your motorbike. Maybe it's taking a photograph. Maybe it's baking a cake. Maybe it's making love. Maybe it's composing music. But wherever it is, maybe it's doing your accounts. There is your meditation hall. No need to go to a church. No need to go sit in a temple or anywhere in particular or special in inverted commas. Everywhere is sacred. Cherish these times of absorption. So again, it's about being fully absorbed, giving our all. And then he gives some suggestions. Just treasuring these images. Rocking the baby in the silence of the night. Pouring water into a crystal glass. Tending the logs in a crackling fire. Sharing a meal with a circle of friends. It doesn't need to be anything special. All of these everyday activities we can become fully immersed in. And it's in that moment of full immersion that we are lost and then found, if that makes sense. Embrace these pleasures and know this is my true body. So whenever you have that experience of full immersion, of being lost in an experience, an activity, a doing or a being, it's as if you disappear, right? And in that moment you become one. And it's that which this is pointing us to, the knowing that that is the truth of who we are. Nowhere is more holy than this. Right here is the sacred pilgrimage. And then the invitation, the reminder. Live in alertness for such a moment, my beloved. This reminds me of a practice that I learnt when I very first trained to be a Nia dance teacher 14 years ago. we were introduced to a simple practice of being present as teachers and as beings. And there was an acronym for this practice of presence. It was RAW, R-A-W, relaxed, alert, and waiting. So it was different to other instructions for meditation, and they never called it meditation, but we were invited to fully relax the physical body in every way and the nervous system. So relaxed, fully relaxed, and yet alert, which sounds like a paradox, doesn't it? So there's a relaxed alertness, which is the witness, the awareness, and waiting. And we would use that, for example, to be able to tune into the divine, to channel guidance for the rest of the class. And then we were, it's a practice you can use at any time. I use that when I'm looking for a parking space. I go into raw, relaxed, alert, waiting, and I just become completely neutral. It's a way, I guess, I'd give it other words now, of becoming centered in my Sushmuna, in my central channel. Go into complete neutrality. And then from that completely neutral place where there's no crazy thoughts, the magic can happen, and you can attract to yourself whatever it is you desire, or open up to divine messages. Live in alertness for such a moment, my beloved, as if it were your one meeting with the Creator. And that makes it all the more powerful to live in that state of alertness, knowing that everything is part of this divine pilgrimage, and thinking that this could be the one meeting that we have with the Creator, for which we have longed so much. Just picture how that would change what you bring to each meeting with another person, with what you're doing, with your activities, with your work, with everything around you, how that would change the quality of what you bring if this was your one opportunity to meet the Creator, and seeing whatever is in front of you as the Creator and interacting with that in that way. So, yeah, of course in the reading, it's a deepening always. It's remarkable, really. These sutras are very powerful. They have a really powerful transmission for us. So, thank you for being there with me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing your presence, which supports me in the sharing. And join me again tomorrow for the next reading from these sutras, and have a beautiful day wherever you are. Sat Nam.